James Ransone, the actor so many people know from The Wire and It Chapter 2, became the center of a shocking online storm when false reports began circulating that he had died at the age of 46. The headlines were dramatic, the posts were emotional, and the claims spread with frightening speed across social media platforms, fan pages, and gossip accounts. Fans woke up believing they had lost a performer whose work felt deeply personal, someone whose characters had mirrored real pain, insecurity, and survival in a way that stayed with people long after the screen went dark. Messages of grief flooded timelines. Clips of his most emotional scenes were reposted. Some fans even said they felt like they had lost a friend. But the truth is very different. James Ransone is alive, and what actually unfolded says a lot about modern celebrity culture, the danger of viral misinformation, and why this actor's life and career inspire such intense reactions. James Ransone has never been a typical Hollywood star, and that's exactly why audiences care so deeply. He was born on June 2, 1979 in Baltimore, Maryland, a city known more for grit than glamour. His upbringing was far removed from Hollywood privilege or industry connections. There were no child star beginnings, no overnight fame, no carefully managed public image. His path into acting was messy, uncertain, and deeply connected to real-life experiences. That authenticity is something you can feel in every performance he gives, and it's why his work resonates so strongly with viewers who see parts of themselves in the characters he plays. From the beginning, Ransone gravitated toward characters who were flawed, vulnerable, and often overlooked. He wasn't interested in being the smooth hero or the polished leading man. Instead, he brought attention to people who were struggling, people who made mistakes, people who were trying to survive in systems that didn't care about them. That approach set him apart early in his career and would become the defining thread of his body of work. The story truly begins in the early 2000s when Ransone landed the role that would permanently change his life and career. When Season 2 of The Wire aired in 2003, audiences were introduced to Ziggy Sobotka, the son of a dock worker who desperately wanted respect but had no idea how to earn it. Ziggy was impulsive, insecure, emotionally immature, and constantly trying to prove himself in a world that mocked him. He was awkward, sometimes irritating, often heartbreaking, and completely unforgettable. James Ransone didn't soften Ziggy to make him more likable. He didn't play him for easy sympathy. He played him honestly, embracing every uncomfortable moment, every bad decision, and every emotional breakdown. Ziggy's story arc became one of the most tragic in television history. His mistakes felt painfully real because they were rooted in insecurity and desperation, emotions many viewers recognized from their own lives. By the time his story reached its devastating conclusion, audiences weren't just watching a character fail, they were watching a young man crumble under the weight of expectations he could never meet. That performance stayed with people, and even today, Ziggy Sobotka is frequently cited as one of the most emotionally complex characters in television. That role didn't just earn Ransone praise from critics, it earned him lasting respect within the industry. Casting directors, writers, and filmmakers recognized that he could handle emotional weight without exaggeration. He wasn't afraid to look foolish, weak, or broken on screen. He understood that vulnerability was power. That made him an ideal choice for roles that required depth rather than surface-level charm. After The Wire, he continued working steadily, never chasing fame or tabloid attention, but consistently choosing characters that felt grounded, human, and emotionally truthful. One of those roles came with Generation Kill, where Ransone played Corporal Josh Ray Person, a Marine deployed during the Iraq War. The character was loud, reckless, immature, and often offensive, using humor and bravado to mask fear and confusion. Once again, Ransone fully disappeared into the role. There was nothing glamorous about it, and that was intentional. He portrayed the chaos, boredom, fear, and emotional immaturity of young men sent into combat, capturing the uncomfortable reality of war without romanticizing it. His performance added another layer to his reputation as an actor unafraid to expose uncomfortable truths. As his career continued, Ransone became a familiar face in independent films and genre projects. He didn't always headline box office hits, but his presence elevated everything he appeared in. Horror fans, in particular, began to recognize how effective he was in tense, unsettling roles. In films like Sinister, he proved that fear doesn't always come from jump scares or loud moments. Sometimes it comes from stillness, from subtle expressions, from the sense that something isn't quite right. Ransone mastered that kind of quiet intensity. Then came a major turning point in 2019 when he joined the cast of It Chapter 2 as the adult version of Eddie Kaspbrak. Stepping into a role that audiences already loved was a risky move. Expectations were high, and comparisons were inevitable. Instead of mimicking what came before, Ransone expanded Eddie's personality into adulthood. His Eddie was anxious, sarcastic, emotionally scarred, and deeply human. He captured the long-term effects of childhood trauma with heartbreaking accuracy, showing how fear and self-doubt don't simply disappear with age. That performance resonated far beyond horror fans. Many viewers said Eddie's story felt painfully relatable. His struggle with anxiety, identity, and self-worth struck a chord, and Ransone's portrayal added emotional weight to a film filled with spectacle and horror. For many, Eddie became the emotional heart of the movie, and Ransone's performance stood out as one of its strongest elements. For a new generation of fans, James Ransone became their introduction. Suddenly, people were rediscovering his earlier work. They went back to The Wire. They revisited Generation Kill. They noticed a pattern across his career. Again and again, he played characters who were hurting, searching for belonging, and trying to survive in environments that offered them little compassion. That pattern wasn't accidental. It reflected both his artistic instincts and his personal understanding of pain and resilience.
Off-screen, Ransone has never shied away from honesty. He has spoken openly about his struggles with heroin addiction in his early adulthood and about getting sober in 2006. He has discussed how trauma influenced his behavior, his choices, and his sense of self. In later interviews, he revealed painful experiences from his childhood, including abuse, explaining how those experiences shaped his life for years. These admissions were not shared for shock value or attention. They were shared with sincerity, as part of a broader conversation about healing, accountability, and survival. Fans responded to that honesty with empathy and respect. Many saw him not just as an actor, but as someone who had fought hard to stay alive, to grow, and to use his experiences to create meaningful art. That connection made the false death rumors hit even harder. When someone is known for portraying pain so convincingly and has openly discussed personal struggles, the internet often turns that vulnerability into a narrative, sometimes without regard for truth or consequences. Clickbait pages and gossip accounts exploited that reality, crafting headlines designed to shock and spread quickly. The goal wasn't accuracy, it was engagement. And as the rumors spread, social media filled with emotional reactions. Fans posted scenes from The Wire, calling Ziggy one of the most tragic characters ever written. Horror fans shared Eddie Kaspbrak moments, saying the character helped them feel understood. Others expressed anger and frustration, calling out the cruelty of inventing a death for clicks. Some people admitted they cried before realizing the story wasn't true, a powerful reminder of how deeply Ransone's work has connected with audiences. What's especially striking is that even in the middle of a hoax, the conversation shifted away from gossip and toward appreciation. People started talking about why his career mattered. They talked about how rare it is to see actors who prioritize truth over image. They talked about how his characters felt like real people rather than exaggerated archetypes. They talked about how his openness off-screen made his performances even more meaningful. James Ransone's career is a reminder that not every impactful actor is a global superstar. Some leave their mark quietly, role by role, scene by scene. They don't dominate headlines or tabloids, but they stay with you long after the credits roll. Ransone is that kind of actor. He represents a form of storytelling rooted in empathy, discomfort, and honesty, and those qualities are becoming increasingly rare.
The incident also raises serious questions about how we consume celebrity news. Death hoaxes are not harmless mistakes. They affect real people, real families, and real lives. They exploit mental health conversations and turn genuine pain into entertainment. In Ransone's case, the rumor didn't just misinform, it reopened conversations about trauma in careless and damaging ways. Right now, the most important takeaway is simple and clear. James Ransone is alive. His story is not over. His career continues, and so does his influence. Instead of mourning a loss that never happened, fans are being reminded of why his work matters and why his presence in film and television is so valuable. In an industry full of noise, hype, and artificial personas, James Ransone has always stood out by being real. Maybe that's why people reacted so strongly when they thought he was gone. His presence feels personal, his characters feel familiar, and his journey, marked by survival, honesty, and emotional truth, continues to resonate with audiences around the world. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.